Alright you lot, welcome back. We are still going through the big summer preview because now we've got the old world to look at. I was planning to do this yesterday, but then we had more ogres, and frankly the ogres took precedent because I love what they're doing with that range. But they've done something massive for the old world, and that is chaos. A lot of chaos, like a lot, a very heavily armoured chaos to be specific, so we're going to take a look at that. So yeah, chaos arrives in the old world. There's a new core set, which is chaos versus Cathay, which is quite nice. I like that. Very very heavy armour on one side of that box, but you do get the big old cannon in the back there, which I still love that miniature. It's great. But we've seen the Cathay stuff before. We need to look at the new Warriors of Chaos because god damn, these look good. They have really just gone all in on the big beefy armoured dudes, and frankly, I'm loving it. Fully armoured Chaos is some of my favourite Chaos, and as such, it's hard to not get a bit of enjoyment from these, especially when they look really, really brutal, as these two champions do. One mounted, one on foot. I will say straight off, oh dear lord, the amount of trim and detail to paint on these. Like, I get it. There is an aesthetic, and it needs to be stuck to. But, oh boy, unless you're going for a filthy, dirty, grimy paint job, you're going to be at this for a while, it feels like. And honestly, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. Like, looking at these, they just have that... I'd hesitate to use the word aura because I feel like at a certain age you're just not allowed to, but they have that, right? They look incredibly menacing. They look super threatening. The armor is absolutely fantastic. I love the kind of layered look where you've got chainmail, you've got plate, you've got more chainmail on top, you've got all these cloth elements, things like having what looks like a horse's skull or whatever that is. I mean, it's part of the cloak, isn't it? It could be a predator. Could just be really any old animal on there. It looks great. It looks really, really good. Actually, it's more likely to be some sort of wolf or something in it. It seems like I can't work out what animal that skull's from, I'm realising. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is. It looks good. That's the important bit. But yeah, I really, really love the designs they do for the Warriors of Chaos because they just look properly beefy and borderline impossible to take down. But there's still that edge of, like, barbarian to them. There's that kind of ornamented edge. There's all this kind of extra stuff. On the corners of the armor, you've got these extra bits of decoration that just really add to the overall feeling of you do not want to be anywhere near these people. Things like the mount there, the demonic mount, with the big horns coming out of the armor at the front. That is a great look. It's horrible. You don't want to get charged by that. It's just fantastic. Also, all the skulls hanging down off the chains. Oh, it's so good. I will say too, I love me a giant axe. I love me a giant sword. It's true, but I do love me a giant axe, and both of those axes are horrific in how big and threatening they are. And they do have different build options, which is nice. I do like that helmet with the skull on top. Oh, that looks great. That looks really good. Hell yeah. Actually, that is also a giant maul. I like the giant maul. We also have some new Chaos Knights. Now, something that is kind of interesting about this as well is that AOS has got a significant amount of, like, Warriors of Chaos rep going on. And you'd think that they might be a bit too close, like the similarities might be a bit too much. I think these do have a kind of, like, a certain thing of their own, but they do also feel kind of close enough to be interchangeable depending on what you want to do. It feels to me, from what I remember of those like Chaos Warriors from AOS, these seem to have some of the detail just turned up. Just the amount of stuff going on per guy seems to be kind of through the roof comparatively, but at the same time, I don't think these look messy. They are busy, for sure, and again, I feel like painting them would take an age, but at the same time, I don't think they're losing too much through being as busy as they are. They still have that incredibly, like, threatening look to them, the just being, like, fully armoured. Just fully, like, plated up does a lot for providing, like, a weight and momentum to a miniature, and these just look implacable. Like, once they get going, they simply do not stop until they have decided they want to. You don't get to choose whether they stop or not. They will just ride over you. That is the kind of thing that I want to see. And again, things like the horses having a bunch of metalwork, all those spikes and stuff around the front. You've got so many like skull and severed head trophies. They just looks fantastic. I really, really like them. I do. It's a weird thing. I do think they are extremely busy, but for some reason, it's not hitting me as a these are like annoying to look at busy. It's just kind of emphasizing how spiky and nasty these guys look. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but that is what's going on. Also, the ones with the lances. Oh man, I love that. I love that. Even the lances are unnecessarily brutal. Like, it's not just, here's a big long pointy thing. You've got little spikes, you've got like a chain on one of them, got these little pendants and stuff, which also looks fantastic. Also, the helmets on these guys. I love a good helmet, right? Don't take that out of context. I really like that style of helmet, where you've got the big horns and there is... It's the slit, the vertical slit, that for some reason, it just the aesthetic of it, it just hits the right spot. Couldn't really tell you why, but it does. So I really like these. I really like them. And again, the sheer amount of like metal work on the horses, just there's so many spikes and bits of like gilt edging and stuff. There's just so much going on. Also, things like the eye holes on the helmets for the horses. I can't remember if there's a specific name for a horse helmet, but there you go. I really like the difference between those as well. You've got some of the ones that seem a bit, that are like more half orb. You've got the one there that seems like it's just a bunch of like different strips of metal that meet in the center. But then you've also got this almost like, it looks like something's just punctured through already. I like the differences there, because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of spikes. Little things like that, just to differentiate that little bit. I like that. I like it a lot. I just think, yeah. And also the shields, which we couldn't see properly before, just those examples just there, fantastic. I really like them. I really like them. I especially like that they seem to be primarily wood with metalwork over the top, as opposed to just looking like solid metal. I really like that, because it adds a little bit of extra texture to it, and there's just something about, I don't know what it is. Again, it's just that random thing of a well-sculpted wood grain is just aesthetically pleasing to me. And so I'm looking at that guy on the left there, the big old spiky as hell lance. You've got a bunch of horns sticking out the front of the horse's armour. You've got this layer of chainmail, then a layer of cloth, then you've got the armour, but then you've also got this totally different texture in the form of the like wood grain on the shield there, and it just adds something to it. It just makes it more satisfying and complete for my money. I really, really like that. Really, really like it. It's not just knights though. Not just knights. There's also warriors too, and they look like a bunch of nutters in the best way possible. I like the musician at the front. He's got his drum out. I love a good like overhead axe pose. I don't know what it is, but when you just have a couple of guys in the back that are like, get me in there, it's just fun. It's just fun. The banner or battle standard or whatever you would call that particular iteration of, you know, carrying something around, horrific. Like, that's properly awful. I mean, it's literally just a torso with severed arms attached to a big symbol of chaos. Now, I don't even think that is the guy's head on top of it. The skin tone is quite different. That looks like a different person's head. What a gross and horrific thing to be just wandering around the battlefield with. I mean, the battlefield is going to be gross and horrific enough, right? But you've brought your own there. You've brought your own, you know, horrific way to die just on display, which obviously works perfectly. We are talking about chaos. But yeah, there's something visceral about that, which I like, but in a I don't like this sort of way. From little we can see of the shields, those look really good. Again, the armour looks really nice. I like the differences across the armour. You've got a couple with cloaks, whether they're going across the front and the shoulder and then down the back, or just a standard cloth cloak as opposed to like a furry cloak. You've also got a mix of materials for like tabard type things as well. There's enough to keep them separate, enough to keep them interesting, but they do still look cohesive. It's nicely done. It's very nicely done. Again, I love the horned helmets. I just really like them. They're great. they're very on the nose. They feel a little bit like Viking-esque, although I know that the Vikings didn't run into battle with horned helmets on. I know that's not a thing that really actually happened, or at least very rarely happened if it did at all. But it still has that kind of like almost barbarian sort of feel to it, which is why I like it so much. It just fits them, you know, it just fits them. Again, we've got that horrible standard. I would be interested to know if there are multiple options for that standard, or whether you've got to carry around someone's torso every time. This sounds, how do I put this without sounding like a bit of a wrong one? Okay. How do I... It would be nice if you had a few different body parts to choose from. I don't know how else to put... Like, I'm just saying, rather than have the same torso every time, maybe stick a couple of legs up there. Like, you've clearly chopped someone in half. Where's the lower half? Get that on a banner. You know, just you know, spice it up a bit. Change it up. It still didn't sound any better. There was no way to phrase that, was there? That didn't sound a bit not normal. Again, though, really, really solid unit. Nicely cohesive. Still got some nice individual parts on it. Very fun. Very, very fun. Oh, yeah, there we go. Look at those shields. Oh, they're so good. Horrible torso's back. Now, look, you've seen the same banner 3 times. Tell me with a straight face, meaning it entirely, that you don't think it would be cool if there was a couple of other options to stick on there. I don't think you actually disagree with what I'm saying. You probably think there's better ways to phrase it, but I don't think you disagree with what I'm actually saying about it. It does look good, but I feel like the repetitive nature of it, if you've got a few of these units, could get a little bit old. Then again, I suppose if you've got a big box of bits, you know, why not make your own Grizzly trophy? It's not that hard, is it? Also, I've just realised, I thought the arms had been chopped off. Maybe one of them has. Oh no, I think no, maybe neither has. It sort of looks like they've been bent over the arrow of the Chaos Star there, backwards a little bit. So actually, no, the arms haven't been chopped off. They are still attached, just bent in a horrible, horrible way. Lovely. Lovely stuff. We love to see it. We don't love to see it. Now, we've also got new Chaos Dragon. So it looks like we've got a champion of some kind up there, but there's also a sorcerer. I love this. I absolutely love it. This has got some proper, like, old Warhammer fantasy feel to it. It feels like it's been modelled off those older dragons, specifically like the bigger monsters that Trish Carden used to sculpt for GW. It has that feel to it. Not exactly the same, of course, but I feel like the inspiration is definitely there. I really, really like this. Also, I'm pretty sure this is bigger than Archeon. Like, that, look at the size of the actual lad on the back of that thing. This is a colossal model. It is huge. I want to know what the base size is, because god damn, that's big. The pose is very fun. It's a little bit kind of, what is it doing? I think it's just being menacing. I think the dragon is just fully being menacing. I think we've got wings up and back, really just making myself look big kind of energy to it. But it's very, very effective. It's very effective. It being that bit more like slim and lithe, especially when you compare it to like the kind of dragons they've done for the Stormcast Eternals, for instance. Like, I know Old World and AOS different, but those have always been big, chunky, like really quite built in terms of like musculature, and the body as a whole has been pretty big, pretty girthy. This is very different. This feels a lot more slim. It feels a lot more lithe. The like, is it like the muscle striation or whatever and stuff on the limbs there? It's really, really pronounced. The heads look fantastic as well. There being a really long serpentine neck is very fun. Oh, I love this. I really think they've knocked that out of the park. It is great. It's like a proper centerpiece model. That is absolutely solid. I will say, I think maybe they should have put the Sorcerer version first, because you can see so much more of it due to the very different colour scheme on the dragon itself. The way they've done the wings on this, by the way. I love it. I'm in love. I want to do that. Yeah, oh God, what a quality model that is. We've got some close-ups as well, and that is a big old spike that has been attached, or is perhaps growing out of that shield. I'm assuming attached. I like the trophies coming off the throne at the back. That big chaos symbol does look very cool, but I do like the more streamlined version that the sorcerer is sitting on. Also, the sorcerer looks fantastic. The kind of half helmet looks like, along with the beard, having the big book open. That's great. That is great. Also, is the book on a lectern, or is it floating? I think it might be I think that is a levitating book, which is frankly excellent. I love that. Why have like a little lectern if you've got a magic book that will just hover? Like, it's even chained to the saddle. That rules. That actually rules. Also, the cloak on the sorcerer, that is so nice. That is so nice. Can you see like the fur effect on that? God damn, that's a well-sculpted cloak. Hell yes. As a certified cloak enjoyer, that is a top 10 right there. There's also a revised edition of the Rulebook with a new core set, and a Battle March book that's got stuff for playing smaller scale games, which I really like that they're doing that. A shorter, smaller way to get people in and then build them up to having like a full massive army. I mean, it's a good move, isn't it? And there's 2 new Battle March boxes, one for Warriors of Chaos and one for Cathay. I mean, this is good. It's good. Overall, I think this is a solid group of miniatures. The knights look fantastic. I mean, the warriors look fantastic. They all look fantastic, but I will say I think the standout is probably the dragons. The dragons just look great. They just look absolutely brilliant, and also massive, like absolutely gigantic in terms of height at least. I would love to see a comparison once they're out between those and Archeon, because I really feel like they're bigger, but I'd love to know for sure. Anyway, that is the stuff for the old world that was shown off on the summer preview. Let me know what you thought of that lot in the comments down below. In the meantime, feel free to click all the things, and I'll see you for the next one.